Pepe holders, welcome back. Let's get into the conversation today as we want to kind of take a look at Pepe versus Bitcoin, and we'll talk about Pepe Coin and if a reversal is coming about, because right now, as we look at Pepe's price surging against Bitcoin, we're seeing it outperform a lot of other altcoins and meme coins in the market. But right now, today, we have seen a little bit of an exhaustion go across the board within the top 100s. We'll take a look at that and get into the mindset. Can we see Pepe have a little bit of a reversal in the opposite direction? We'll talk about that bear case as well. This is not FUD. This is not financial advice, just my thoughts. Pepe has been booming, and that's exactly why you guys are all tuning in. Appreciate the support. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you all hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and join us. We do talk crypto each and every single day. And before we get down into kind of what we're looking at, we will dive into the crypto bubbles. I'll share with you guys kind of what we're looking at across the board. It is more of a red day, but just a little side kind of graphic here as we look into this image coming out from River. And this is in part going to illustrate why this is important, okay? But we've seen a change in Bitcoin ownership over the last year or so, just in 2025. You can look into kind of how much Bitcoin is being bought up by businesses, funds, ETFs, government as well. But the takeaway message is how much is not being possessed by actual individuals in the retail side. So you see all the commentary and you want to talk about kind of what Bitcoin is here for, store of value. This isn't a Bitcoin video, but as we get into why Pepe is doing well, it is kind of relevant because Pepe is a meme coin. You look at it to be more so on the retail side in terms of action. And as we look at Bitcoin losing that individual ownership, that does, I think, kind of tell a story, and you need to keep that in mind. And I don't quite frankly understand, because as we look at BlackRock, Grayscale, all of these big institutions, they keep gobbling it up. Michael Saylor, MicroStrategy, as well as what we've seen within some of the administrations in government. That's something to keep in mind moving forward, okay? But this is what we came here to talk about. The couple of the highlights we will get into. But first, let's take a dive into kind of what we're seeing on the charts. I want to show what we're looking at within Pepe. And we are going to look into the chart here on BTCC. If you haven't started using BTCC, I have a link down below. If you want to trade with me, check it out. Make sure you understand all the terms and conditions, and it's right for you and where you're located. But for most clients, spot and leverage trading is available, 14 plus years in the industry. So if you want to trade with me, that link is down below. Check out BTCC. But we'll go full screen here for a minute. And Pepe, I mean, we've had a little bit of a couple correcting days, but I think that it comes down to that blue line, right? We want to make it past the 40169 territory. That's kind of what I have labeled as the target for me. That's kind of the upper echelon of that upwards target that we have reached back in May of 2024. And as it relates to this market today, we are seeing this move kind of across the board for a lot of the top 100 cryptos out here in the market. And we see a nice little pattern here forming. And this is this is what all traders are going to be looking at, right? As we see that formation, it's pretty much cut and dry. So the next point that we want to talk about is what happens from here. But we look into kind of TA as being more of a tiebreaker, in my personal opinion. I devote a lot of my trading insight to my trading indicator as well as my experience in the market. But dating back from here, okay, this is where we're going to look at May 6th of 2025. That's when things really started to pop off, and you can kind of measure it and to see where we're at right here, right now, even with the correction, over 60% in gains in just a very short time window, less than 2 weeks. We were able to experience a lot of price action here at the bottom, and that's kind of why I want to get back above that 40169 territory, because for there, I think that does kind of dot the I, if you will. That's the level that I want to see Pepe retest. And if we do hold true above that and really do, I think, substantiate that bullish claim, that's the level for me personally that I'm keying in on. Okay, so that's what we have going on the charts. As always, guys, like I said, if you want to start trading with me on BTCC, use that link down below. But I want to get into this article as we look deeper into what's happening. Okay, a couple of the highlights, and that's why we were talking about Bitcoin outperforming Bitcoin, rallying in the 55% territory with the Pepe BTC pair in just 1 week's time. The on-chain MVRV ratio dropping down to 25.82. So that's kind of why we're seeing a lot of profit taking from short-term swing traders, holders as well. But this is kind of why we wanted to talk about some of the analysis within the charts, because despite all that going on, right, I still think that there's enough coming into crypto with these inflows. We're just having kind of that little correction day, but it's something where you just have to recognize the values, understand that people are taking profits, which I'll never be mad at anybody for locking in a win. And that's just kind of what I see happening within Pepe. Okay, so there's a lot of strength going on, but there is a conversation to be had about profit taking that a lot of Pepe short-term holders are kind of exiting in the temporary time frame. I think that's all but natural, especially if you were able to time that bottom. As we see Pepe right here, you could talk about it, as we dip down even to that 505 in some change territory where, everybody thought the book was out, meme coins were faltering, and then next thing you know, we're looking at Ethereum trading as high as 2,700 and beyond. So back into it, as we look at this, and all it is, guys, is a risk of exhaustion, okay? But Pepe is still one of the top performing meme coins. There's a lot of hype surrounding what's happening right now. I think that the biggest issue with Pepe, with SHIB, Ethereum kind of got, left behind. Solana meme coins took off. I think that that's been the big storyline. And from there, guys, it's all about kind of what we're going to do next, because Ethereum is looking to make its move. We've seen the upgrade within Pectra, as well as kind of the push from the administration within Trump. So there's a lot of things to be bullish about Ethereum, despite kind of it lagging the rest of the market. But I am still kind of talking about it in that regard. And we'll see what happens, see how long we can sustain these levels. But as long as Ethereum is up 2,600 and beyond, I think that Pepe has a very solid shot at kind of proving a lot of this analysis wrong, okay? But now we've seen kind of late in 2025 where Pepe did weaken against Bitcoin, and that falling trend could confirm a bearish turnaround if we broke down below that 61.59 support level, okay? But if we do kind of have a close below that, that's something where you look into that potential bearish reversal. And I think that right now the next downside target, if you do agree with this article, is at 41.82 followed by 40.11. Okay, so that's kind of what we're looking at. And granted, guys, these numbers are based on Bitcoin numbers, so they're not going to be the price for Pepe. So please keep that in mind. Okay. But also the unrealized profit, that's another metric we want to look into. Okay, so if we dive into the on-chain data, we talked a little about the MVRV, and that's something where we look at the average return of holders compared to acquisition price. That ratio does translate to a lot of unrealized profits and an increased likelihood of sell-offs, okay? The 30-day standing at 25.82 after dropping from a very high level of 40%. That's kind of why we saw a little bit of a profit-taking event take place. And with what we've seen in the past, right, these danger zones that you're looking at, if history were to repeat, the Pepe price is ready to even go lower, and that's just kind of what we have to go off of based on historical trends and the MVRV. Nobody has that crystal ball that we all covet within the space. I'll give you guys my personal opinion, but to conclude, I think that right now this coincides with what we're seeing in the market overall, okay? Despite all this, the technical resistance levels and a lot of, the indications that Pepe has been running hot in that it will be due for a correction, right? What goes up must come down. I truly believe that this is something where you have to look for the narrative that, hey, a win is a win is a win. Pepe traders have been taking profits, and when the market's running hot like this, we still haven't really evolved into, economically into a position where the fear is completely gone, right? We're still kind of hesitant. We're still kind of dwelling in what has been going on, right, with these tariffs. And now as we get bullish news stringing together, you can just tell how much the market is ready to explode, okay? And that is going in both directions, mind you. So it would not shock me one bit if we did break down, and it would not shock me if we defy some of these metrics and Pepe were to break out. So So my job here is just to give you guys the numbers. You make the best decisions for you personally and your financial journey. I'll tell you how I'm kind of approaching this all. As long as Ethereum is up, I am in on Pepe. Okay, if Ethereum starts to look kind of nasty and we look like we're headed for more downward pressure, then yeah, then Pepe is probably going to be a benefactor of some of that fall as well. So you kind of have to take it for what it's worth. You have to have a good exit strategy. I don't fault any of these traders taking profits, especially after the horrid drop-offs that we did have. And you know, we rode the wave down once. Shame on me. And then now looking at it, guys, it does set up for the conversation to be had that, hey, we're back there again. We've been running hot. It would not shock me whatsoever if Pepe did sell off a little bit. So that's why I wanted to make this video, to keep you guys all informed. But like I said, I'm trading Pepe based on kind of the performance of Ethereum personally. And then, like I said, you guys can do with what you want with your own capital. I'll never tell you guys to buy or sell a crypto. Okay. So leave your comments down below. How are you playing Pepe? Are you in? Are you out? Are you on the sidelines? You're waiting for an entry. You're waiting for another dip. Just continually adding to your bags. I kind of want to know down below what you guys are feeling. All right. So I'll leave you with that. We'll look forward to some of those comments. As always, guys, if you want to start trading with me on BTCC, links are down below in the description. We'll see you all in the next video. Cheers.